that it's 8 o'clock, and breaking news this hour, Barnaby Joyce is about to become the Deputy Prime Minister of Australia once again. You're looking live inside Government House. It's a weird one, isn't it? The PM on a screen where the Governor-General will swear him in, putting him on a direct collision course with the Prime Minister. Watching along with us is Nine Political Editor Chris Yeoman. Chris, like it or not, Barnaby is back.
He's back, which I think was one of those things from the Poltergeist movie in the 1980s, Karl, a bit of a frightening thing for some. Certainly the Prime Minister. I've got to say, this whole thing of him beaming in from somewhere else does make him look a bit like a hologram. And he's in for an interesting ride, of course, with Barnaby Joyce, because we can expect that Barnaby Joyce will be Barnaby Joyce, and that is, he will be unruly, he will be unpredictable, and he will be a headache for the Prime Minister, of course, as he imposes more of the National Party will on the government. I can see that David Hurley, the Governor-General, coming in now, second time around for Barnaby Joyce, and all of us will be strapping ourselves in for the ride, Karl.
Looks like he's got some of his family members there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only see the Prime Minister on the screen at the moment as he talks to David Hurley, so I'd have to wait until I get to some of the other pictures, but I'm assuming that some of the family members are there. It's a big day, of course, for anyone in politics when you are raised to this level. These are the jobs that they aspire to be. And of course, Barnaby Joyce has spent the last 3 years trying to work out how he gets back to being Prime Minister on the road through Michael McCormack, and he ran him down yesterday.
OK, let's have a little listen in.
Mr Joyce, I invite you to take and subscribe the oath of office as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure, Transport and Regional Development.
I, Barnaby Thomas Gerard Joyce, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Infrastructure, Transport and Regional Development, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia. So help me God. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Prime Minister, leave here.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That concludes the presentation of the Ministry. Congratulations, Barnaby. I look forward to working together.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. The same.
You don't have a photo with you, Prime Minister.
Okay.
Hang on, we are not leaving this. That is such an unusual, strange photo, isn't it? And the weirdest of swearing-in ceremonies. There he is, kooky. Look, Chris, as bizarre as it is, now he's got plenty of cattle to go with that hat, I guess.
He certainly has. That is a surreal experience, isn't it, Karl? It just makes it even weirder. As you were saying, though, Vicky is there with his two sons. Yeah, look, fascinating times for politics, and of course the Prime Minister, although he's got a big grin on his face this morning, will have to renegotiate the coalition agreement with the National Party, the junior party of the coalition, and Barnaby Joyce will be seeking more than Michael McCormack got. What he's trying to get is some brand differentiation, and one of the big areas where he'll try and differentiate is over climate change. The Prime Minister has been crab walking towards announcing that Australia will be hitting a target of net zero emissions by 2050. You can expect that Barnaby Joyce will be throwing up some roadblocks in front of that.
Well, they needed to make a change, didn't they, to, as you say, to differentiate their brand. Some of those minor parties were coming up thick and fast, and obviously they saw the writing on the wall. And look, there was some speculation they did some internal polling in some of those key electorates, and it wasn't going well for them. So Queensland, coal and climate change back in Barnaby's favour now. You'd have to think that he'll make some pretty big decisions that'll be headaches for the Prime Minister.
Yeah, he absolutely will, and I'm sure that Scott Morrison does see that coming. One of the things about Barnaby Joyce is that he is unpredictable, although he does say that he's learned. He's learned, by the way, Karl, yesterday he tells us that your actions can have consequences for others. That's something most of us sort out by the time we hit puberty. So he's now in his 50s. He was holding a Bible. His church does believe in redemption, and, you know, there's hope for all of us, Karl. But we'll see if Barnaby 2.0 is much different from the first one that we had going around. Certainly he'll want to show more discipline in public life that he's shown so far.
I don't know. Isn't it just Barnaby? I mean, he just had 2 sugars there. Barnaby, he does his own thing, and doesn't some of the electorate like that?
Some of the electorate does, Karl, but when you're in a government, you have to display some kind of discipline. One of the problems that Barnaby Joyce has had from the outset was, right back at the time when he came into the Senate, he was constantly crossing the floor against the government he was part of. Now, you can do that a few times, but it does begin to wear thin on others. And when you become the leader of a party, you actually have to impose discipline on others. If you can't show it yourself, you can't demand it of others. So it'll be interesting to see how Barnaby Joyce goes. But right now, Scott Morrison will be, along with us, wondering exactly how he's going to deal with his new deputy.
Chris, I can see the front page tomorrow. It was just that shot of Barnaby there that we played. Just if you wind it a bit further forward, he's got the, just as we go here, watch everyone at home, it comes in here, and then just as we pan across to the Prime Minister, get you to freeze frame, there we go. Yay. There we go. It's a cup full of crazy.
That is a slightly deranged smile, I would say. And look at the Prime Minister. It seems to, I think the picture's frozen. He looks like a Prime Minister in a fish tank. And
he'd be feeling like it this morning.
And he's going to be beamed. Like the images this afternoon are just going to be spectacular. Barnaby Joyce will be sitting in the seat that the Prime Minister usually occupies. The Prime Minister will be on a computer screen behind him, and there'll be merry hell being played in Parliament House today. But while the Labor Party might enjoy this part of the ride, and there's 3 more sitting days to go, so it'll be quite some ride, don't forget that Barnaby Joyce is a good campaigner. Yeah. The government is targeting the regions and the suburbs, and he plays very well there. So he'll be a handful for Labor as well.
And only 16 weeks until the election, Chris.
Oh, Karl, you want it again this year?
No, I'm just joking.
It gets close, it goes back. You have a bet one way, you have a bet another way. Make up your mind, mate.
I have been
Put your money down. Tell us when it's going to be.
All right, I will tomorrow or the next day.
All right.
Good on you, Chris. Lovely to talk to you, mate. Talk to you later.